Hello, students. Okay, so I was working on that recording over the article we've been reading about what makes a good argument and why argue. But it feels a little bit complicated to me. Not that that's a bad thing. It makes me think about certain things. I also thought, though, that there were places where it could have given better explanations. So when we're talking about different kinds of reasoning, deductive and inductive, and also syllogisms, um, it gave an example of all cats hate water. And this isn't exact, but close. All cats hate water. Max is a cat. Therefore, Max hates water. So, what kind of reasoning is that? That's deductive reasoning because when we start with a rule, this is a rule all cats hate water. And then we say the second part is Max is a cat. And then the third part is because of this, based on this rule and the fact that Max fits into this category, he also hates water because we said all cats hate water. But at least right away, that article didn't say, well, okay, it is a valid example of deductive reasoning. However, what's wrong with that reasoning? Is it sound? Not quite, because do all cats hate water? No. All cats do not hate water. So, since we started with a statement that wasn't completely correct, therefore, even though our reasoning based on if that statement were correct, our reasoning is good, we don't get to a correct conclusion because the first statement was not true. So we can have logical reasoning, but arrive at a conclusion that is not true. So what I was trying to do, and I got Chat GPT to help me with this morning, and it still took 40 minutes, and I still have slight issues with some of it, but at some point you have to stop and just deal with it. And whether it be that article, what I say, what y'all say, what Chat GPT says, what I think is most helpful is discussing things and figuring out does this make sense or not, and why or why not. And I wanted to put an example also of Chat GPT so you all can see it's not perfect. And so it's important that you learn to argue with it. That's where you get to better answers. If you just ask it to do something, like this was like after several tries, where I had to tell it I want deductive on one side, inductive on the other side so we can compare. And then it was just putting explanations straight across, even though it had given me explanations that looked how I wanted it to here with the check marks. So you have to be really specific and get it to keep working until you get what you want. But just like with our example of all cats hate water, our product is only going to be as good as what we know. I mean, of course, ChatGPT could challenge us too. It does, but we can go only so far as both of us um, are using factual information and getting on the same page. So, no matter where you look for truth, be it your instructors, your textbooks, ChatGPT, there is no 100% answer. None of us have 100% knowledge, even in a specific thing like English composition, Spanish grammar. The world is too complicated. So it is important that we always question and find, get as close to truth as we can through conversation and thinking things out. So here is an example of deductive reasoning. All mammals need oxygen. Is that true? Yes. Okay, so we're good there. A whale is a mammal. Is that true? Yes, we're good there. Therefore, a whale needs oxygen. Well, if the first thing is true and the second is true of a whale is a mammal, then the conclusion has to be true. The problem comes, or a problem comes, is if this first thing isn't true, like all cats hate water. That's not true. Now, where did we get that idea? Well, we got it from probably inductive reasoning. So, what's inductive reasoning? Deductive is you start with a rule and you are basing conclusions off of that, off of this rule plus this information, and here comes your conclusion. Well, inductive reasoning, okay, I have seen many whales need oxygen. Okay, I met this whale, it needed oxygen. I met this whale, it needed oxygen. This other whale needed oxygen too. So my conclusion is, therefore, whales probably need oxygen. We can't say 100% based on our experience that all whales need oxygen. We can say it's likely because that's what we've seen. So inductive reasoning is, for example, used when scientists are trying to get a rule that they don't have yet. They're experiencing more and more of the world, and then they're basing a possible rule, a hypothesis, off of that. But what happens? Okay, I have met 20 cats in my life, and all of them hated water. So it's probable that cats hate water. However, have I met all the cats in the world? No. But if I take it's probable that cats need water and I put it over here as it's probable that cats hate water, and I put it over here as all cats hate water, but do I know that for sure? So if I'm making a guess, I want to do research. I want to find out more information. I want to see if someone knows something I don't know. Why do I say that's not true? I've seen YouTube videos of cats swimming and they looked like they were perfectly happy. So I know that's not true that all cats hate water. But if you're basing this rule off of a stereotype you developed because of your world experiences, you only know so much as your experiences told you. So then if you put that over here as a rule, then your conclusion here can be off. So I hope that makes sense. I don't have time to go over all of these because only 10-minute video, but where I had a problem with ChatGPT is the ground has been wet many times, therefore it probably rained. It left something out because it didn't mention rain up here. And what I would say it was looking for is every time, let me see. Okay, I'm going to do my best. Something like every time it's rained, I have noticed that the ground is wet. And therefore, I noticed today the ground is wet. So my hypothesis is it rained. Now, I'm basing that off of my previous experience. Is it 100% true for sure it rained? No, maybe I am just seeing right outside the school that the ground is wet, but maybe they have sprinklers. So maybe they used the sprinklers. But anyway, what I think is wrong here is they didn't say anything. I mean, this thing, the ground has been wet many times. Under what circumstance? That wouldn't have to necessarily lead to anything with rain. What we can surmise that, but that's based on what we know, not based on the statement they made. They needed to add something else to that. Um, yeah, just notice that you have to think about what ChatGPT says too. And this is very important because if you use it and base your reality on it, you will still face consequences if what you say is not true. It's not an excuse that you saw it at ChatGPT. So we always have to keep questioning whether it's other people, technology, whatever, ourselves. So these are some examples of whether an argument is sound or not. I'm probably going to run out of time, so I'm going to have to make part two. Okay, so I'm going to end this and make a part two.